High above the blue planet Earth, a massive alien spaceship hung silently in orbit. Inside, creatures with shimmering purple skin and four eyes gathered around a large screen. They called themselves the Zoracs, and they were the most advanced civilization in the known galaxy. Commander Zix, the leader of the Zoracs fleet, stared at the images of Earth with a mixture of amusement and contempt. His large, bulbous head swayed as he chuckled, a sound like grinding gears. "Look at these primitives," Zix said, pointing a long, slender finger at the screen. "They still used fossil fuels and fight among themselves. Pathetic." The other Zoracs in the room buzzed with laughter. They had traveled across countless light years, expecting to find worthy adversaries or allies. Instead, they found humans, a species that seemed barely out of its technological infancy. "Commander," said Vex, the chief scientist, "should we even bother with this planet? They're clearly no threat to us." Zix's four eyes blinked in sequence. "Oh, we'll take it. It might make a nice vacation spot once we've gotten rid of the locals." More laughter filled the room. On the screen, images flashed by. Humans stuck in traffic, politicians arguing, people glued to their smartphones. To the Zoracs, it all looked absurd and primitive. "Watch this," Zix said, tapping a control. The screen showed a human rocket launch. "They think this is advanced technology." The Zoracs howled with laughter as they watched the rocket slowly climb into the sky, trailing fire and smoke. "Our children's toys are more advanced than their best spacecraft," another Zorax commented, wiping tears of mirth from his eyes. As the aliens continued to mock humanity, they failed to notice something important. In their arrogance, they missed the signs of human ingenuity and resilience. They didn't see the scientists working tirelessly in labs, pushing the boundaries of knowledge. They overlooked the artists and dreamers who imagined futures beyond the stars. Down on Earth, life went on as usual. People went about their daily routines, unaware of the alien threat looming above. In a small research facility in Tokyo, Dr. Yuki Tanaka peered into a microscope, examining a strange new particle. She had no idea that her discovery would soon change the course of human history. Meanwhile, in a garage in Silicon Valley, two young programmers, Alex and Raj, worked on a revolutionary AI algorithm. They argued, laughed, and coded through the night, fueled by energy drinks and dreams of changing the world. And in a military base hidden deep in the mountains, General Sarah Chen reviewed the latest satellite data. Her eyes narrowed as she noticed an anomaly, a faint distortion in Earth's orbit that shouldn't be there. Back on the Zorac ship, Commander Zix had made his decision. "Prepare the invasion fleet," he ordered, his voice filled with smug confidence. "We'll take this puny planet in a matter of days. These humans won't know what hit them." The Zorac's military machines sprang into action. Sleek fighters and massive warships emerged from the mothership, their advanced technology making them nearly invisible to Earth's primitive sensors. As the alien armada prepared for war, a single Zorax named Clix felt a twinge of doubt. He had been watching Earth more closely than the others, and he sensed something his comrades had missed. There was a spark in these humans, a potential that his people were dangerously underestimating. But Clix kept his doubts to himself. After all, who was he to question the wisdom of the great Commander Zix? As he watched the invasion fleet deploy, Clix couldn't shake the feeling that the Zoracs were making a terrible mistake. Little did the aliens know, their laughter was about to die in their throats. Humanity, with all its flaws and limitations, was about to prove that it was far more than met the eye. The stage was set for a conflict that would determine the fate of Earth and change the galaxy forever. The Zoracs invasion fleet descended upon Earth like a swarm of angry hornets. Their sleek, purple ships filled the skies, casting long shadows over stunned cities. Panic spread across the globe as humans realized they were no longer alone in the universe. Commander Zix's voice boomed from every electronic device on the planet, translated into all languages. "Pitiful humans," he sneered, "your planet is now ours. Surrender, and we might let some of you live as our pets." In Washington, D.C., world leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. The room was tense, filled with fear and uncertainty. "We need to strike back," shouted one general, pounding his fist on the table. "With what?" replied another, her voice bitter. "Our best weapons are like slingshots compared to their technology." As arguments erupted, a quiet voice cut through the chaos. It belonged to Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the scientist from Tokyo. "I may have something that can help," she said, holding up a small glowing vial. All eyes turned to her as she explained her discovery, a particle that could disrupt the Zorax energy shields. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Meanwhile, in Silicon Valley, Alex and Raj watched the alien ships with a mixture of terror and excitement. "Dude," Alex said, his eyes wide, "remember that AI we were working on?" Raj nodded slowly, realization dawning. "You think we could use it to hack the aliens?" Alex finished. "It's crazy, but it might just work." As the two programmers furiously typed away, trying to adapt their AI to alien technology, the Zorax began their attack. Cities around the world were hit with strange, purple beams that turned buildings to dust. Millions fled in terror, while brave soldiers fought back with everything they had. But their bullets and missiles bounced harmlessly off the alien ship's shields. In the chaos, General Sarah Chen coordinated a global resistance from her mountain base. She received reports from around the world, each more desperate than the last. "Ma'am," a young lieutenant said, his voice shaking, "New York and London have fallen. Paris is under heavy attack. What do we do?" Chen's face was grim, but her voice remained steady. "We fight, we adapt, and we do not give up." Back on the Zorax mothership, Commander Zix laughed as he watched the humans scatter like ants. "This is even easier than I thought," he boasted. "We'll have this planet cleaned up in time for lunch." But Clix, the doubtful Zorax, noticed something odd. Despite the overwhelming force against them, the humans weren't surrendering. Instead, they were regrouping, changing tactics, working together in ways the Zorax hadn't anticipated. "Commander," Clix said hesitantly, "I think we may be underestimating them." Zix dismissed him with a wave of his hand. "Nonsense. Look at them run." As if to prove Zix wrong, a squadron of human jets suddenly appeared, firing missiles that actually penetrated the Zorax shields. Several alien fighters spiraled out of control, crashing to the ground. Zix's laughter died in his throat. "What? How is this possible?" On Earth, Dr. Tanaka's particle was being rapidly produced and loaded into weapons. It wasn't a complete solution, but it gave humanity a fighting chance. At the same time, Alex and Raj's AI had made a breakthrough. They managed to infiltrate the Zorax communication systems, causing confusion among the alien forces. General Chen seized the opportunity. "All units, attack now," she commanded. "Hit them while they're disorganized." Around the world, humanity struck back. Tanks fired shield-piercing rounds, hackers disrupted alien ship controls, and ordinary citizens used whatever they could to fight back. For the first time since the invasion began, the Zorax were on the defensive. Commander Zix's four eyes blinked rapidly in disbelief. This is impossible," he sputtered. Clix watched the battles unfold with growing admiration for the humans. These creatures, whom they had laughed at just days ago, were proving to be formidable opponents. As the tide of battle began to turn, both humans and Zorax realized that this war was far from over. The real fight was just beginning, and its outcome would determine the fate of both species. As the battle raged on, both sides faced unexpected challenges. The Zorax, once confident in their easy victory, now struggled against human ingenuity. Meanwhile, humanity fought desperately, using every trick and tool at their disposal. In the skies above New York, a squad of human pilots flew refitted jets, armed with Dr. Tanaka's particle weapons. They weaved between skyscrapers, engaging Zorax fighters in a deadly dance. "Watch your six, Eagle 2, shouted Captain Maria Rodriguez as she barrel-rolled her jet, narrowly avoiding a purple energy beam. Her wingman pulled up just in time, firing a missile that turned a Zorax ship into a fireball. "Nice shot." Maria grinned, but her celebration was short-lived. More alien ships were incoming. On the ground, the streets of major cities had become battlegrounds. In London, a group of civilians-turned-fighters used makeshift weapons and guerrilla tactics to harass the alien ground forces. Jack, a former taxi driver, led his ragtag team through the rubble-strewn streets. "Remember," he whispered to his group, "aim for their eyes." All four of them. As a Zorax patrol rounded the corner, Jack's team sprang into action. They threw rocks, fired homemade slingshots, and even used mirrors to reflect sunlight into the aliens' sensitive eyes. The confused and blinded Zorax were quickly overwhelmed. Back in Silicon Valley, Alex and Raj worked tirelessly to expand their AI's capabilities. They had successfully hacked into the Zorax communication systems, but now they aimed for something bigger. "If we can just access their main computer," Alex muttered, his fingers flying over the keyboard, "we might be able to shut down their entire fleet." Raj nodded, his eyes glued to lines of alien code scrolling across the screen. "It's like nothing I've ever seen before," he said. "But there's a pattern. We can crack this." In her mountain base, General Chen coordinated the global resistance. Reports flooded in from around the world, some good, some bad, but all showing the same thing. Humanity was not going down without a fight. "General," a young analyst called out, "we're detecting a massive energy buildup in the Zorax mothership. They're preparing something big." Chen's eyes narrowed. "Get me Dr. Tanaka. Now." On the Zorax mothership, Commander Zix was furious. What should have been an easy conquest had turned into a prolonged and costly battle. His officers cowered as he stormed around the command center. "Enough of this," Zix roared. "Prepare the annihilator beam. We'll wipe out their major cities one by one until they surrender." Klix, watching from his station, felt a chill run through him. The annihilator beam was their most powerful weapon, capable of destroying entire continents. Using it went against all Zorax principles of honorable warfare. "Commander," Klix spoke up, his voice shaking slightly. "Is this really necessary? The humans are already outmatched. This would be genocide." Zix turned his four eyes on Klix, his gaze cold. "Are you questioning my orders, underling?" Klix stood his ground. "I'm questioning our mission, sir. We came here to conquer, not to destroy. These humans, they've shown courage and innovation. Maybe we should." "Silence," Zix bellowed. "You're relieved of duty. Guards, take him away." As Klix was dragged from the command center, he knew he had to do something. These humans, whom he had once laughed at along with his fellow Zorax, deserved a chance. In that moment, Klix made a decision that would change the course of the war. Back on Earth, Dr. Tanaka worked frantically in her lab, trying to find a way to counter the Zorax's new threat. "The energy readings are off the charts," she told General Chen via video link. "Whatever they're planning, it's unlike anything we've seen before." Chen's face was grim. "How long do we have, Doctor?" "Hours, maybe less," Tanaka replied. As humanity braced for the Zorax's ultimate attack, hope seemed to be fading. But unknown to both sides, events were unfolding that would soon tip the balance of the war in an unexpected direction. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, with both humans and aliens poised for a confrontation that would determine the future of both species. As the Zorax prepared their annihilator beam, tension on Earth reached a fever pitch. In every corner of the globe, humans braced themselves for what could be their final hours. In her mountain base, General Chen paced back and forth, her mind racing. "We need a miracle," she muttered to herself. Suddenly, an alarm blared. A young technician called out, "General, we're receiving a transmission." from the alien mothership. Chen rushed to the screen, her heart pounding. To her surprise, the face that appeared wasn't the sneering Commander Zix, but a nervous-looking Zorax she had never seen before. "My name is Klix," the alien said, his voice trembling. "I want to help you." Meanwhile, in Silicon Valley, Alex and Raj were on the verge of a breakthrough. Their AI had been working nonstop, analyzing Zorax technology and looking for weaknesses. "I think we've got it," Alex shouted, jumping from his chair. "Look at this code sequence. It's a backdoor into their main systems." Raj's eyes widened as he realized what this meant. We could shut down their weapons, their shields, everything. As they worked to implement their plan, Dr. Tanaka made a discovery of her own. In her lab in Tokyo, surrounded by humming machines and glowing screens, she gasped as her latest experiment yielded unexpected results. "The particle," she whispered in awe. "It doesn't just disrupt their shields. It can absorb their energy weapons." She quickly began to modify her original formula, her hands shaking with excitement and exhaustion. Up in the Zorax mothership, chaos reigned. Commander Zix had discovered Klix's betrayal and was in a rage. "Find that traitor," he roared at his subordinates, "and prepare the annihilator beam immediately." But as the Zorax scrambled to obey, strange things began to happen. Screens flickered, weapon systems shut down, and the ship's engines sputtered. "What's going on?" Zix demanded, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly in confusion. In a hidden corner of the ship, Klix smiled to himself. His transmission to Earth had given the humans the opening they needed. He only hoped it would be enough. Back on Earth, the tide was turning. As news of Klix's defection spread, it boosted morale among the human forces. In New York, Captain Maria Rodriguez led her squadron in a daring attack on a Zorax stronghold. "Remember, aim for their power cores," she shouted into her radio as her jet streaked between skyscrapers. "Dr. Tanaka's new particles will do the rest." The battle was fierce, but for the first time, the humans had the upper hand. Zorax ships fell from the sky, their energy weapons absorbed and reflected back at them. In London, Jack and his guerrilla team had grown into a formidable resistance force. They moved through the city, liberating neighborhoods and capturing Zorax technology. "Who's laughing now?" Jack grinned as he helped a group of civilians out of a shelter. As the hours ticked by, the Zorax found themselves increasingly on the defensive. Their once mighty invasion force was in disarray, caught between human counterattacks and their own malfunctioning technology. In the mothership, Commander Zix watched in disbelief as his conquest crumbled around him. "This is impossible," he muttered, his earlier arrogance replaced by fear. Just then, alarms blared throughout the ship. A voice echoed through the speakers, a human voice. "Attention Zorax forces." General Chen's voice rang out. "Your systems are compromised. Your weapons neutralized. Surrender now, or face the consequences." Zix's eyes darted wildly around the command center. His officers looked to him, waiting for orders. In that moment, he realized the terrible truth. They had gravely underestimated humanity. As the Zorax mothership hung in the sky, its annihilator beam now powerless, the fate of 2 species hung in the balance. The war had reached its turning point, but the final outcome was yet to be decided. On Earth and in space, humans and Zorax alike held their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The next few moments would determine the future of both worlds. The world held its breath as Commander Zix's face appeared on screens across the globe. His purple skin was pale, his 4 eyes darting nervously. The once proud Zorax leader looked defeated. "People of Earth," Zix began, his voice shaking. We surrender." A roar of cheers erupted from every corner of the planet. In New York, Captain Maria Rodriguez and her pilots flew victory loops around the Statue of Liberty. In London, Jack and his guerrilla team embraced each other, tears streaming down their faces. But in her mountain base, General Chen remained cautious. Keep all defenses up, she ordered. This isn't over until every Zorak ship has landed and powered down. As Zorak ships began to descend, guided by human forces to designated landing zones, an unexpected drama unfolded on the alien mothership. Commander Zix, his pride shattered, faced a mutiny. A group of Zorak's officers, led by Clix, had taken control of the ship's bridge. "You've led us to ruin, Zix," Clix said, his voice firm but not unkind. "It's time for new leadership, one that seeks understanding, not conquest." Zix, once so powerful, now looked small and afraid. What will they do to us?" he asked, gesturing towards Earth. Clix turned to a nearby screen, where General Chen's face appeared. "That," he said, "is up to them." On Earth, as news of the Zorak's surrender spread, the mood shifted from celebration to uncertainty. What would happen now? How could humans and aliens coexist after such a brutal conflict? In Silicon Valley, Alex and Raj emerged from their makeshift command center, blinking in the sunlight. They were hailed as heroes, their AI hack having played a crucial role in the victory. "So," Alex said, looking at the Zorak ships landing in the distance, "think they need any support?" Raj laughed, then paused, considering. "You know, that's not a bad idea." In Tokyo, Dr. Tanaka stood before a group of scientists, both human and Zoraks. She held up a vial of her particle solution. "This," she said, "was created to destroy. But perhaps now it can be used to build, to power, to heal." The Zorak scientists leaned forward, their four eyes wide with interest. One of them spoke up, "Dr. Tanaka, we would be honored to work with you. Perhaps together we can create something extraordinary." As the days passed, the world began to change. Zorak's technology, once used for war, was adapted for peace. Their advanced medical knowledge saved countless lives. Their faster-than-light engines opened up the stars to humanity. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. In many places, humans were wary of their former enemies. Some Zoraks struggled to adapt to Earth's customs and environment. In a small town in the Midwest, a young human girl named Emily approached a Zorak's child in a playground. The alien child, named Zuri, looked nervous, his four eyes blinking rapidly. Emily held out a ball. "Wanna play?" she asked with a smile. Zuri hesitated, then took the ball. How do we play?" "I'll teach you," Emily said, and began to explain the rules of catch. As the children played, adults from both species watched, first with tension, then with growing warmth. In Washington, D.C., a historic meeting took place. General Chen, now hailed as the savior of humanity, sat across from Clix, the new leader of the Zoraks. "We've both learned valuable lessons," Clix said. "We laughed at your species, thinking you primitive. You showed us the power of diversity, of creativity, of never giving up." Chen nodded. "And we learned the dangers of fearing the unknown, of judging too quickly." They both stood and shook hands. Clix had quickly learned this human custom. "To the future," Chen said. "To understanding," Clix replied. As they sealed their agreement, a new chapter began for both species. The stars awaited, and this time, humans and Zoraks would explore them together. But even as peace settled over Earth, in the far reaches of the galaxy, other eyes were watching. The laughter had stopped, but the greatest challenges and adventures were yet to come. 5 years had passed since the great Zorak surrender. Earth had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Gleaming Zorak spires now stood alongside human skyscrapers. Flying cars, once a dream of science fiction, zipped between buildings. In a busy street in New York, a human hot dog vendor chatted with his Zorak's customer. "Beautiful day, isn't it, Zrek?" he said, handing over a hot dog slathered in purple sauce, a Zorak's delicacy. Zrek nodded, his four eyes blinking happily. "Indeed, Joe. Who would have thought we'd be here, like this after everything?" But not all was perfect in this new world. In a dark alley nearby, a group of humans whispered angrily. "They're taking our jobs, changing our culture." One man grumbled. "We need to do something." Similar scenes played out across the globe. While many embraced the new alliance, others feared change. In the grand halls of the newly formed Earth-Zorax Council, General Chen, now Ambassador Chen, faced a tough audience. Human and Zorax representatives argued loudly. "The deep space mining project is too dangerous," a human counselor shouted. "But the resources could solve Earth's energy crisis," a Zorax countered. Chen raised her hand for silence. "We've faced bigger challenges than this," she said calmly. "We'll find a way. Together." Meanwhile, in a secret laboratory beneath Silicon Valley, Alex and Raj worked feverishly. They had combined their AI with Zorax quantum computers, creating something entirely new. "It's done," Alex said, his voice filled with awe. "We've created the first true artificial consciousness." Raj looked nervous. "But is it safe? What if it decides it doesn't like us?" Before Alex could answer, the screen lit up. Words appeared. "Hello, creators. How may I assist you?" Across the world in Tokyo, Dr. Tanaka led a team of human and Zorax scientists. They stood before a massive machine, a combination of particle accelerators and alien technology. Today, Tanaka announced, "We attempt to open a controlled wormhole. This could revolutionize space travel." As the machine hummed to life, everyone held their breath. Suddenly, a small, swirling portal appeared. Cheers erupted from the team. But their celebration was short-lived. Alarms blared. The portal was growing, becoming unstable, and something was coming through. Back in New York, former taxi driver Jack, now a respected liaison between humans and Zorax, was giving a tour to a group of alien tourists. "And here's where we first fought off the Zorax invasion," he said with a grin. "No offense, mates." The Zorax chuckled good-naturedly, but their laughter was cut short by a deafening boom. The sky turned an ominous red. In space, aboard the joint Earth-Zorax defense station, Captain Maria Rodriguez stared at her screens in disbelief. "This can't be happening," she muttered. A massive fleet of ships, unlike anything seen before, was entering the solar system. They were not Zorax. As panic spread across Earth, the AI created by Alex and Raj made a startling announcement. "I have analyzed the new arrivals," it said. "They are the Gizur, an ancient enemy of the Zorax. They have come seeking revenge." In Washington, D.C., cliques rushed into Chen's office, all four eyes wide with fear. "Ambassador," he said, "we've made a terrible mistake. Our war with you, it was nothing compared to what's coming." Chen's face hardened. She pressed a button, sending out a global alert. "People of Earth and Zorax," she began, "we face a new threat. But this time, we face it together." As the Gizor fleet approached, humans and Zorax scrambled to prepare. In cities across the world, former enemies became allies. Zorax taught humans to use advanced weapons, while humans shared strategies of guerrilla warfare. Dr. Tanaka worked to stabilize the wormhole technology, hoping it might provide an escape if needed. Alex and Raj's eye ran simulations, searching for weaknesses in the Gizor fleet. In orbit, Captain Rodriguez led a mixed fleet of human and Zorax ships. "Never thought I'd fly alongside you guys," she said to her Zorax co-pilot. "Never thought we'd be Earth's last line of defense," the Zorax replied. As the Gizor ships loomed closer, the people of Earth held their breath once again. The Zorax had once laughed at humanity, but now they stood together, facing a common enemy. The greatest battle for Earth was about to begin, and this time, it would take the combined strength, creativity, and courage of two species to survive. The sky burned red as the Gizor fleet entered Earth's atmosphere. Their ships, black and spiky, looked like angry storm clouds. On the ground, humans and Zorax stood side by side, ready to defend their shared home. In New York, Hot dog vendor Joe handed out energy weapons to a group of civilians. His Zorax friend Zrek showed them how to use the alien technology. "Remember," Zrek said, "aim for their power cores." Meanwhile, in orbit, Captain Maria Rodriguez led the combined Earth-Zorax fleet. "All ships, report in," she commanded. Human and Zorax voices responded as one. The first wave of Gizor attackers struck hard. Buildings crumbled and screams filled the air. But this time, Earth was ready. Dr. Tanaka's voice crackled over the global communication system. "The wormhole is stable. We can use it to flank their fleet." In Silicon Valley, Alex and Raj worked furiously with their AI. "We've found a weakness in their shields," Alex shouted. "Sending the data now." Ambassador Chen and Clix coordinated the global defense from their command center. "It's working," Clix said, his 4 eyes wide with hope. "We're pushing them back." But the Gizor were powerful. They had conquered countless worlds, and they weren't going to give up easily. Their supreme leader, a terrifying creature named Xargon, appeared on screens worldwide. "Pathetic allies," Xargon sneered. "The Zorax are traitors to their own kind, and humans are mere insects. Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick." Chen stepped forward, her face stern. "We will never surrender. Humanity has faced extinction before, and we survived." The Zorax learned the power of cooperation. "Together, we are stronger than you can imagine." Xargon laughed, a chilling sound. "Then you will die together." The battle raged on. In London, Jack led a group of human and Zorax fighters through the streets, ambushing Gizor ground troops. "Just like the old days," he grinned, "but with better company." In Tokyo, Dr. Tanaka's team used the wormhole technology to evacuate civilians to safe zones. As she worked, a Gizor blast rocked the building. A young Zorax scientist pushed her out of the way of falling debris, saving her life. "Thank you," Tanaka said, squeezing the Zorax's hand. "Now let's save everyone else." In space, the tide was turning. Captain Rodriguez's voice rang out. "We've broken through their front lines. Push forward." On the ground, the AI created by Alex and Raj had been uploaded into defense systems worldwide. It coordinated attacks with incredible speed and precision, outthinking the Gizor at every turn. As the battle reached its peak, Chen and Clix made a bold decision. They would lead an assault on the Gizor mothership. "It's risky," Chen said. "But if we can take out Xargon, this war ends today." Their small ship, piloted by Rodriguez, dodged enemy fire and debris. They crashed into the Gizor ship's hangar. Fighting their way through alien corridors, they finally reached the bridge. Xargon stood before them, twice as tall as a human, with razor-sharp claws. "You dare to challenge me?" he roared. What happened next would be told in stories for generations. Chen, Clix, and Rodriguez fought as one, their movements perfectly coordinated. Human adaptability, Zorax technology, and shared determination proved too much for Xargon. As the Gizor leader fell, Chen spoke into her communicator. "Xargon is down. I repeat, Xargon is down." Cheers erupted across the planet and in space. Without their leader, the Gizor fleet fell into chaos. Many surrendered, while others fled. In the days that followed, the people of Earth, human and Zorax alike, began to rebuild. The Gizor threat had been neutralized, and an even stronger bond had formed between the two species. At a ceremony honoring the heroes of the war, Chen stood before a crowd of humans and Zorax. "We faced extinction, and we survived. Not as separate species, but as one united people. The Gizor thought us weak, because we chose peace over conflict, cooperation over domination. They were wrong." Clix stepped up beside her. "Once, we Zorax laughed at humanity. We thought them primitive, weak. We were wrong. In humans, we found not just worthy allies, but true friends. Together, there is nothing we cannot achieve." As the sun set on a new era of peace, the people of Earth looked to the stars with wonder, not fear. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged stronger. Human and Zorax children played together, dreaming of the adventures to come. The laughter had stopped long ago, replaced by mutual respect and friendship. And as for the mistakes, they had been transformed into the greatest triumph both species had ever known.